There's a couple other things. There's been this talk going on. Like, once again, we gotta pull everybody's card, man, because it's getting really old. Elizabeth Warren, for instance. I've been critical of Elizabeth Warren. It is not because Elizabeth Warren is a woman. I have been critical of Elizabeth Warren. It has nothing to do with her gender. See, here we go. See, this is the precedence you have set because you are selfish. You have selfishly set up a paradigm where now we have to qualify our criticism because you have sophomorically degenerated these conversations down to conversations of gender. You child. I criticize Elizabeth Warren because Elizabeth Warren makes statements like this.
Corbin, I'm just going to be blunt. I do not believe in unilateral disarmament. We got to go into these fights, and we got to be willing to win these fights.
So this just applies to the primary. Like, were you to get the nomination, and or anyone else to get the nomination, like, just raise all the money you can, however you can.
Yes.
So does this only apply in the primaries, or will you carry this over to the general election or any other election you'll have going forward?
So this is for primaries. Look, I do not believe in unilateral disarmament. We need a lot of power, a lot of dark money, a lot of super PACs, all to the fight. We play by the same rules. And in that one, I say we got to be all in.
Corbin, I'm just going to be blunt. I do not believe in unilateral disarmament. We got to go into these fights, and we got to be willing to win these fights.
So this just applies to the primary. Like, were you to get the nomination, and or anyone else to get the nomination, like, just raise all the money you can, however you can.
Yes.
So does this only apply in the primaries, or will you carry this over to the general election or any other election you'll have going forward?
So this is for primaries. Look, I do not believe in unilateral disarmament. We need a lot of power, a lot of dark money, a lot of super PACs, all to the fight. We play by the same rules. And in that one, I say we got to be all in.
All right, I just want to make sure everybody can hear that. I played it twice because I wanted to make sure it was crystal clear for the people in the cheap seats. Is there anyone who doesn't understand what my primary objection to Elizabeth Warren hinges on? It's not on her Pocahontas thing, the thing with Native American, whatever that was, the thing. It was embarrassing. I don't like it. I think it's bad form to even get entangled in it. And then to prolong it by being clumsily in a back and forth with Donald Trump when you are not willing to go the distance. Because unless you are willing to get in the mud, you don't get down in the mud. If you're look, don't get me wrong. If you're willing to fight in the mud, fight in the mud. I'll fight in the mud. I'll fight in the mud, no problem. That's where I come from. Fighting. But if you're not built that way, you should never get down in the dirt with somebody unless you're willing to rise up to victor and go as long as you need to go and punch where you need to punch.
The Massachusetts senator and progressive darling has been really given the business to Donald Trump recently in scores of personal and occasionally quite vicious attacks. 33 of her last 34 tweets have been dedicated to dressing down the presumptive GOP nominee. And as our Jeff Zeleny reports, Warren has so rankled Trump, calling him a money grubber in a tweet last night, that attacking Warren is now part of Trump's stump speech.
She's never been Hillary Clinton's biggest defender, but Elizabeth Warren is becoming Donald Trump's sharpest critic.
Donald Trump was drooling over the idea of a housing meltdown because it meant he could buy up more property on the cheap. What kind of a man does that?
Friends of Warren tell CNN she knows she needs to step up, and it's good for her own politics, after Bernie Sanders has eclipsed her as the Democrats' leading liberal. Her words are pointed.
A small, insecure money grubber who doesn't care who gets hurt so long as he makes a profit off it.
Wow. And she's getting under Trump's skin.
Goofy Elizabeth Warren, I call her Goofy. She's a nasty person.
Democrats have long wanted Warren in the race. At first, as a candidate herself, but after taking a pass on her own run, she spent months in silence, not endorsing Clinton or Sanders.
Thank you.
She still hasn't. But CNN has learned she and Clinton now communicate frequently, mostly about taking on Trump, as she did Tuesday night in a blistering speech.
Now that he has sewn up the Republican nomination, Donald Trump is dropping all pretense. He's kissing the fannies of the poor, misunderstood Wall Street bankers.
Their war of words on Twitter escalating again today. If Donald Trump actually believes every stupid lie he reads on the internet, we're in for a truckload of trouble if he's president. He often shoots back like this. Goofy Elizabeth Warren didn't have the guts to run for POTUS. Her phony Native American heritage stops that MVP cold. Attacking Warren's heritage is a central theme, as he did Tuesday night in Albuquerque.
Did you ever hear of Pocahontas? Huh? It's Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren.
We're going to do this.
Her Native American ancestry caused an uproar in her Massachusetts Senate race, with critics saying she tried passing herself off as a minority to get ahead at Harvard. She struggled to prove her family ties, finally expressing regret for not handling it well.
Let's have that debate.
Warren, one of the most popular faces of the Democratic Party, is now intent on taking down Trump.
Let's face it, Donald Trump is about exactly one thing: Donald Trump.
But my point is, that's not my primary objection to Elizabeth Warren. It's dark money. Why do some of us have such an objection to dark money? What is that, Bob? What do you say, Bob? Speak up, Bob. Tell them why. It's because we don't want our candidates to be influenced by dark money interest. Why is it not good enough to say, well, I'm not talking about the primary, I'm talking about the general? Sylvia, please answer. Because we don't care when you sell out, we don't want you to sell out at all. It doesn't help us if you sell out later instead of earlier if you still sell out. That's what it's all about. Now, does any of that seem like it's misogynistic or because I dislike women? Do you think if it was a guy, I would be like, hey, all right, you're going to take dark money. Great, I'm cool with it, man, because I like guys taking dark money. But if you were a woman, oh, man, I surely wouldn't support you. One of the most frustrating things from being on this side, guys, is trying to understand how people make excuses for the inexcusable. We can't force issues because we have people that call themselves progressive and think leaders and thought leaders, change agents and disruptors. And meanwhile, all they're really trying to do is get their pockets fat and they go along with any old crap. How could you be just like silent? You know, when she's sitting in front of you saying, we need dark money. Give me dark money. And your response is, oh, okay, okay. Anyway, so let's go on to something else. Then when you're called out about it, you deny and act like it's not on tape. Guys, I'm really trying to understand. But now I get it. By and large, most people don't care. Then they get upset when we get politicians who do the bidding of corporations over the people. Then they get upset when all of a sudden nothing gets done and everything looks the same, or it gets worse. Then they're upset. But when it's time to stand up, hold people accountable, silence. Excuse making.
She released policy proposals, lots and lots of policy proposals, outlining what she would do if she was elected president. So according to the New York Times, Warren has released 20 detailed policy plans on everything from affordable childcare to lessening the influence of lobbyists in Washington to protecting public lands. Her policy ideas, broadly speaking, are aimed at addressing what Warren sees as the foundational issue of our time and the foundational issue of her campaign.
No amount of butt kissing, no amount of, I'm going to come up with all these plans will make up for me the fact that people that give you lots of money can make you change some of them plans. Well, we'll just move this one to the bottom of the stack. Oh, listen, Tim Black. Hell, well, gosh darn it, Tim Black. Don't get so fidgety. I'll just move it to the bottom of the stack, and we'll just raise your issue, whatever it is. Cucumbers? You like cucumbers? And what kind of dressing? A little bit of yogurt dressing? Okay, we'll just move your issue on the top right there. In that little criminal justice reform thing, we'll just put the old fiddly sticks. We'll just put it, hey, why don't we just put it on the floor? There we go, just put it on the floor. Hey, I got a better idea. Listen, if you will increase your donation, we'll just take this little criminal justice thing. Listen, fiddly. Listen. Root beer floats. Oh, God. What did I do? Oops. Wait till Grandma hears about this. We'll just rip it up. Just make the check payable to Lizzie Campaign Group. Kitty. Because we need to beat Trump. That's why. So, jump in Jehoshaphat. Exit stage left. Heavens to Murgatroyd. So, there we go. And you got to be that clear. You got to be that blunt with people, because people will paint you as a woman hater and all these other things. But what you really are is a principled voter. And for women, I know it's just as bad, if not worse. They act like you are a cannibal, that you are a discredit to other women, that you are hateful of women, or that you are envious of them, or something, that you hate yourself. That's the worst. They do that to black people too. You must hate yourself. Why you keep talking about Kamala Harris? You must hate yourself. It's okay if you don't like her. You must hate yourself. My brother, I hate the fact that she's fooling you. And these media people are fooling you into thinking she's your friend. She's not your friend. That's why I got to keep talking about her, because they are fooling you. And the proof that I need to continue to talk about her is that you are making that nonsensical comment now based on nothing else than what her skin tone is. So to my women who see through Elizabeth Warren, who hold just as much contempt for her taking dark money so brazenly and as if it matters if she doesn't take it in the primary, but she can only take it in the general, like, I want you to know I feel your pain on this. I understand exactly what it is. I get it all the time myself. It's all good. We got our reasons. Last but not least,